Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about the new Fujifilm X-T50. However, I'm not one of those cool guys who already had the cameras weeks prior to the release. So the only way I could get hands on this camera is by printing them. Over here I have a print of the new X-T50 and I have a print of the X-T5 because I see a lot of people asking around the internet like, should I buy the X-T50 or should I buy the X-T5? Because after all, the X-T50 is just a baby X-T5 since the specification they share are so similar and the image quality that they both can output is identical, both in video and stills. Your buying decision comes down to other things, and those things are what we're going to look upon in this video. It's going to be a short video because there's not much to say in all honesty. The compromises lies in build quality, where the build quality of the X-T5 is better. It has weather sealing, it has a bigger battery, it has this three-way tilt screen, and it's faster when it comes to continuous shooting, and it has a faster mechanical shutter. The viewfinder is also better. You have 3.6 dots versus 2.3, and you have that higher battery capacity since you have the larger battery, which roughly goes down to 580 shots versus 305. But in all honesty, none of that matter because the output of your images will be the same. Well, for certain situations, the weather sealing could matter, and that dual card slot could be a pretty nice thing to have. Personally, I shoot all my JPEG to one card and all my RAWs to one card, and that's pretty convenient when I'm connecting the app and stuff like that. So the size is the factor to consider here. Even if there seems to be a pretty significant difference in size where the X-T50 is smaller, I have hard to motivate purchasing an X-T50 over an X-T5. That comes down to one thing, and that's the price. The X-T50 retails for $1,400 at least on the pre-sale. At this moment in time, you could get an X-T5 for $1,700. So the difference is $300. Well, if you are on an absolute budget, well, then buy the camera you can afford. But if the money isn't an issue, that's a good thing. If money isn't the issue, well, then buy the X-T5. I believe that the resale value is better on the X-T5. If you pair both of these cameras with a tiny pancake lens, like the 18mm or the 27mm, they are both going to be small enough. I don't think that the size of the X-T50 outweighs the price. There's one more thing that we have to talk about, and it has to do with this thing over here. It's the new dial on the X-T50. On the X-T50, they put a specific dial to change your film simulations. And the way this dial works kind of tells what target group this camera goes for. And this target group is for photographers who are pretty new to the game and beginners. Because most Fujifilm users who's been using Fujifilm for a while know that the film simulations isn't the main thing. The main thing is the recipes. And the difference between a film simulation and a recipe is that a recipe is a combination of settings such as white balance tilt, color chrome, and how the camera should react to highlights and shadows. All those settings together create a recipe that create a certain look. Put that recipe to a costume function in your camera, so you can switch between your recipes. But on this dial, you only switch between the simulation. I truly wish that these settings, when you turn the dial, would also change the other settings, such as the white balance and highlights roll off and stuff like that. So it would change the recipe. Unfortunately, it doesn't, which probably means, like, if you like me and use custom functions and recipes a lot, you probably not going to use this dial much at all. You're probably gonna use the custom modes that are there, and then you're gonna use the C, and you're gonna assign a button to change your recipes. So in that regard, considering that you have more buttons and more custom functions on the X-T5, it simply comes out on the top. That's why I would prefer to buy the X-T5 over the X-T50. If you have more questions regarding buying cameras and stuff like that, feel free to ask them in the comments below. If you want to see more of my content, click here to subscribe and click here to see a full playlist related to camera stuffs. Thanks for watching.